Go live.
We're live!
We are. Howdy, folks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stuart.
Hi, Commander Trekyards.
Hey! We're doing another tech-themed one. We did the phasers. Now we're on the tricorders.
We did phasers, we did phaser rifles. Now we're doing tricorders.
Yes.
Yes.
Reasonably good variety, if you include the aliens, which we are. And you know what? Those fine folks out there that like suggesting things, go obscure. You know, I like the idea of, random props. Lower Decks, Prodigy, Picard, 3 seasons, 3 showruns, blah. It's some interesting stuff. Although I didn't necessarily mean to when I did the thumbnail, but I did end up doing 3 TOS ones. Didn't mean that, just they all looked so different. But they're all just bricks, right? Only one interesting variety in the pack, but they're all so different in their brickishness.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting.
Dan S with the 2 on the right were, and it's like, well, Strange New Worlds in 2009.
Yes.
Ugh, awful.
Which I don't remember seeing. I
don't either, now that you said it.
I vaguely remember someone maybe opening the top, but then cutting up to their face, but I mean, maybe Bones in Darkness when he's scanning the torpedo, but then they might have had a medical version. Maybe same when he's scanning him in the first film with the big hands, but they were never the focus of the scene. I can't particularly remember any, unless there's the 2 that were, then of course I could remember, but yeah, not very memorable.
No. I wonder if they changed from 2009 to Beyond into Darkness and stuff.
Very possibly. Now, previously, I think last year, remember a bit of a Galaxy Quest kick for whatever reason this last week and a half. If you want to include the Galaxy Quest tricorder, please do. It's rather great, and it's very similar to other ones on this list. So it's comparable versus say the phaser, which is slightly more sci-fi. That's very, very similar, but in a good way. I'm interested to see how that compares. If you want to put in the Galaxy Quest, please do.
Yes.
All right, I will start sharing and get back to you in a moment.
Yes.
Meet Tim.
He's going to die while he does that. All right, 18 of you here, 8 likes. Hit that like button, guys. Let's get it to at least 10. It should be no problem. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and that you click the notification bell icon to all so you don't miss any content from us, including these lives where we hang out with you guys, because we love doing that, and you guys hopefully like it too. If not, my feelings will be hurt, but that's okay. I'm gonna die. Anyway, in the meantime, make sure that you check out the join button down there. There's a join button on YouTube here. Click that, see what the options are, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. Support us on a monthly basis over there. It all helps out immensely, and we appreciate each and every one of you that helps us out in any way that you can. So please do all the things from liking, subscribing to clicking anything you can find. Do the things. Speaking of clicking anything you can find, there's links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic store. Click those, check out the Trekyards merchandise as well as other merchandise that we have or that they have, and yeah, maybe pick yourself up some cool stuff. Anything from shirts to phone cases to mugs to magnets. It's all there at the click of a button. So check it out. And Devo, yes, he does mean the surface mapper. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get into these super chats we already have once Sam is back, and we'll see how it goes. If we don't have a lot, we don't have a lot, and we'll only be on for an hour. That's fine.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, or if you guys just put in 25 super chats right now, we talk about them all, then we've done our job, right?
Yes.
Sign up to you guys. So,
right.
as I often ask, what do you think when you think tricorder? And why?
I don't know. What do you think when you think tricorder, and why?
Jesus Christ.
Don't turn it on you. Yeah.
Bastard.
Not fair, is it?
Well, it's fine. I think Dax sort of love festing over the TOS one. You know, so few moments in all of Trek is the tricorder the point of the scene. Like, a really prominent piece isn't just a scan. So that's one of the very, very few, like, oh, we're actually celebrating the tricorder and what it does and what it is. That's something moment I think of. The in-universe includes the out-universe.
Yeah, I mean, I instantly think of the TOS one myself, and then I get really frustrated with how Spock holds it, and there's nothing on the display screen ever. He must have it psychically linked to his brain, but that's okay.
I mean, he's psychic.
Sure.
Some. Yeah. So is we say is just TOS the way? So all tricorders should be that, in your opinion? Should TNG have just done that but more blinkies?
No. Just the TOS one is when I hear tricorder, the first thing I think of. Instantly.
Do you think you're disappointed at all to have them go to a different design, or you didn't really think about it at the time because it was 35 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't remember ever seeing when I was younger. Okay, I knew there was a new tricorder for the motion picture. I'm like, I don't ever remember seeing it. What's this thing that I'm looking at? And it's when Aaliyah drops it when she gets taken, right? But
those memorable 5 seconds.
I didn't know that was a tricorder. So I didn't know that they had changed it initially, and then you see one in Star Trek 2, Savik's got one, she's seeing and stuff. It's just I don't have a problem with the design evolving, and I think TNG did a good job. So, and even Strange New Worlds, I really love their take on it. But I'm sure we'll talk about that if somebody.
Turns out you just do the original but sleeker. You're gonna win some people over. It is not rocket science. A lot of these ones, right? It really isn't. Especially when they're icons that go kind of beyond just the. Especially when these are things where you had them in your house when you were young. These props have been accessible to fandom for decades. They go beyond just, oh, it's the design. Like the phaser rifle's fine, less personal connection. But the phaser and tricorder, I mean, people, I'm sure people made out of wood in the 60s a tricorder and could probably get relatively close to some paint because they're not that difficult basics wise. Right? You can see it there. You could replicate that. I mean, you could cut up a toilet paper roll, paint it silver, add some black lines. You could make most of that with very, very basic components, and it'd be great, right? And then we have easily accessible toys, etc.
Yeah.
All right. What are people? What do they want us to? What's the ordering here?
Ooh, William J is here. Hey, William.
Hey.
Classic for real, $10. It says $5 for the T-88 with the stripe and everything. Just got mine from my totally real girlfriend on the Vancouver.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, and then he goes on to say $5 for the Section 31 not having tricorders, so Rachel, the Red Lady Garrett, just uses her Samsung phone. Yep.
There's a words that he said, and he's so true about them. Can you explain what the T-88 is, Jokes? It sounds like a Terminator, I'll be honest. I was wondering if there was a triple joke there when he first said that. I was like, ooh.
It is the flippy tricorder from Lower Decks with a purple stripe.
And why is the purple stripe important, Stuart?
Because it's awesome, obviously.
Correct!
It's new.
It is new. It can do probably one more thing. So yeah, how do you feel about the Lower Decks tricorder, and specifically with the purple stripe?
I'd probably want blue stripe personally, but it's fine. It's just a TNG tricorder with the purple stripe. I mean, it's probably got some functionality. I don't know. I never saw it really. Just saw the back of it with the stripe. So looking at this is odd because there's odd button arrangement and colors. But yeah, interesting. I love that they're like kind of making fun of it, but at the same time being like, obviously it's something new and different, guys. Yeah.
Or is this meant to be the T-88? Oh. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's even though I remember it being that. Maybe because that's over the same episode. Okay. Second Google implies this is the T88, which is the handheld scanner variant that... Oh. What happened?
Well, that's like the little gun thingy scanner.
That's what the YouTube's the internet's also be saying.
Yeah, no, that's wrong. Because we see the purple striped tricorder a couple of times actually.
Nope. Paramount Plus official promo art. This is the T88.
Well, it's wrong. So
it's
fine. Paramount Plus is dumb.
Yeah, here's their promo art when the thing came out. And this is their one for the purple stripe, which is different.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do you think of that as a tricorder? Which in fact, he didn't say T88, he didn't say tricorder. T88 could be implied tricorder, but it's a scanning tool is still a tricorder. And there's the...
is a price gun.
Yes. Which, in fairness, I mean, is not there just an extension of the TNG one, the little thing that comes out? So if this is the extreme version of that, I'd get behind it. We do know he likes a curveball, so I'm thinking it's one of those curveballs. But I will say D, because I think this is the right one based on the secondary research. It's not a great one.
Yeah.
And then section 3 on Tricorder, which is basically just our video on it. Because who the hell else talked about it?
Nobody gives a shit.
Nobody.
So this is D, you said.
Yeah.
And then there's this one.
Oh.
That's the actual one with the stripe, yes, which I think is what he was talking about.
Let us know. And it's definitely not a TNG tricorder because the angles are all different. But it's a confusing one, like their phaser, right? It's like it's nothing. It's like it's a cartoon version, you know. So but it's like the shuttle's a Type 6A. Okay, so this is presumably just a lower end version of a tricorder.
I'll take it off for now. We'll just do the T88 on the
keep it on the side.
And then the section 31.
Yeah, that's our thumbnail. Haha.
It's an F. This is the first F. It's just that simple. There's nothing to this. I have apps on my phone that look like this. So.
Low effort. And by low effort, I mean almost none. And it might very well be a case that some designer actually made this case and is really proud to work on Star Trek. And he got to design a tricorder and it had to fit in a phone so it would fully work. And he's like, this is the first fully working tricorder which does stuff and interacts. It's touchscreen, like really wow. And then we're all shitting on it because it's a touchscreen. It's just a phone case. Funny.
There's nothing futuristic or fanciful here. It's just something simplistic.
But it has a light on the back.
So does my phone.
And in fact, mine has three lenses and whatever the second thing this is.
I do too. 3 lenses and
things.
Flash and 2 sensors.
Yes, I think this is the lowest F that you could F. Because it ain't good. And I know
better than it's not better than. Never mind. I was going to say the one in Picard season 2 we thought was bad because it was just literally a flip phone with a case.
I was just looking at
this is worse than that. So
yeah, that one is infinitely better because it actually is a tricorder. Just happens to use a phone. This is a phone case.
Yes.
The end. But I also don't like the Nemesis one. It's just a little touchscreen pad. But at least they have details, and it feels consistent with the, other things. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, classic for real, $2. Sam, rate the Samsung S because it has Sam in it.
Oh. Samsung S. Is this the new tiny phone?
Don't The S just means it's destined for S tier.
Oh. Well, I mean, I think its tricordering abilities are limited. So I think it just because it can't do the purpose. That said, you can do a lot of data retrieval. And it is easily more mappable than the TNG tricorder. So to function, it's way less function, but as user-friendly, it's way more user-friendly. And given that we can, you know, I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult to phone the ISS with a phone, right? Not necessarily you and me, but via satellites, which is what just the Enterprise is doing via the communicator. So the fact that you could phone space with it via the network, you know, you can do some things as in more the data transfer thing, but I think it's just still an F. I think it's still fair for an F, you know. But I can't hear you, so your jokes, ha ha.
Yes, that's what I said.
Ah, yes.
So we'll just get that right off the board.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Summarize our audience, yes.
Mark Lawrence, member for 24 months at the rank of Admiral. I declare hit that like button, peoples.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, 20 likes, 35 people here hit the like
I'll
button.
do a poll.
Yes, we gotta do a poll as well. But hit the like button, we should get to 30 likes, no problem. Mark Lawrence, $10. Lower decks T88 with the purple stripe.
And we'll just do the other one then.
Sure.
Both purple stripes. Gosh, both purple stripes in the same line. That is, people be loving low decks. Woo.
Yes. I think there's a blue stripe one somewhere too. Anyways, yeah. There it is. I mean, it's simple. It has the same basic idea as a TNG tricorder, just with purple stripe and simplistic buttons. It's lacking buttons at the top. I mean, it's fine. It's a C for me.
Yeah, let me do just a brief comparison because it's hard to judge what and who and where tech-wise they are. It's an older ship, so obviously this is the, you know, the TNG tricorder, which is obviously older at this point, but they might still be using old tech, so there's possible. So if you include just the Voyager one, then you can see stylistically it's some, but instantly the screen's radically different. The curve, the way it clicks in is radically different. The buttons are radically different. You know, it's not the same thing, even though it's obviously trying to be the same thing in terms of you get it. But it certainly looks a bit awkward. Something about the curve looks silly. Like the way the other tricorder, it sits in your hand perfectly, and this is extra, you don't think about it. This, it kind of extends out in a way that's like you'd hit things. Not a lot, you get used to it, but it feels less. I don't know why it's such a... I guess to make it just really curved, but... and having, you know... I guess the Voyager has so few buttons at the bottom, but having big giant ones... Why is there a giant red rectangle? You know what I mean? I guess LCARS-y, but... Yeah, it's certainly... unless you present something differently, the weakest of the TNG style, because it's just badly proportioned, but for a tricorder. Not for an overall thing, just, you know... It's the least good tricorder, so go for a C.
Yeah.
I do actually have a low decks phaser, and they are comical. I showed it to Nick. I said, Nick, do you want to do a film with this? He said, no. I said, but it's amazing. He said, no, it doesn't. I'm like, Nick, if I write it or shoot it. He said, yes, I will, but I don't like it. I said, yes, Nick. I got you in the palm of my hand. There you go.
Perfect.
That was a conversation we had.
And now you know.
And knowing is at least 1/10 a battle.
Yes.
If not more. You know.
Classic for real, $5. Okay then, Picard Season 2 tricorder then. P.S. I had no idea there were even 2 different T-88s.
I don't think many people did.
I don't think Paramount even does. I think that... Yeah, that price gun isn't a thing. I don't know.
Well, it's all the same episode, which doesn't help.
Yeah.
All right. Now, how you feel about that one then? The Season 2 one. And now, as we just had some other ones, is contrast going to help?
I mean, yes. Put it this way, Section 31 makes this one look fucking amazing.
Yes.
And at the time, we're like,
1000%.
that's literally just the phone, the foldy phone, with an additional case that has like a scanny light thing at the back. And it actually, they put some effort in. They've got an app. They've got, it looks like the LCARs on the Titan. It's got that look, right? It works. It was simple. You could tell it's a phone, and we kind of knocked them for it at the time. But honestly, comparing it to Section 31, it's at least some effort was put in. And yeah. Now, I've never actually held one of these with the case Sam has. I know. How does it feel tricorder-wise? Because it is.
How does it feel?
How does it feel?
I mean, so I jumped on the first guy who built one of these because he might as well, and he was doing it for an okay price. And I got a dummy phone, but the dummy phone actually had a splash screen on it, so you can't really use it because as soon as you move it, it has like a waterfall, whatever. But whatever, you can get real phones, of course. But I wasn't gonna get a real phone. That's silly. The issue is, quote unquote, and in fact I don't know about the real scaling, although I guess it has to be a certain scale because in a phone, it's just chunky, and because it's just two pieces of a phone case, mine aren't attached, so you kind of have to like hold it to also hold it together. So it's not great. We did use it in Prodigy, I reckon episode 1, 2, because I had it, and it was really fun. Just to bring out the real tricorder. The other joke is, of course, is that the actors forgot to turn on the button that would turn on the scanning. So it never once it's scanned in the entire show. We only scanned because the behind-the-scenes featurette, they proudly showed it scanning.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it could, and logically it should. In my version, and you can see the button. You actually hold it down, turn it on. I guess had it just been on, keep it on, like it would look a lot better because it would have had the tricorderingness. But I guess you could argue stealth mode in the past. But yeah, it's a fine, if very bulky tricorder that has lost all detail in exchange for a flat screen. But it is a flipping tricorder, which does look like a tricorder. But it certainly could have done with, like they could have easily had the case go over the phone and add some more detailing.
Yeah.
Like in TNG, they would have a giant, slightly curved rim monitor screen in the set, and then plexiglass around it, so it's controlled, and around it is fun stuff. So they could have had, only this top 20% is actually a workable screen. The rest is a prop piece that looks more sci-fi, because that just looks like an LCARS on the screen, which is fine, but it hasn't got the elegance of a really crafted prop, right?
Yeah. Is it better than the purple stripe tricorder, though?
Yes, by this much.
But it's still a C.
Yeah, because it does have the light. I think the Lower Decks one does. I can't ever remember seeing any of the tricorders do lights. Which is bad if I can't remember.
Yeah, I just remember we gave him such shit for that at the time. Like, that's clearly just a goddamn phone. And then I saw Section 31 and went, oh my god.
Well, like I say, it would have been a good idea. It was a good idea. You just had to have the case around it that backs it up with cool stuff, like having more lights, more features, just more of a design. But then you could argue sleek is good, right? I mean, But yeah, if they use it a bit more. I don't think they're in season 3. Oh,
I don't recall.
Beverly uses one, and there's some great close-ups of the medical one. Yes, Beverly does use one.
Is the medical one different?
No. Nope, it's just that with the separate piece, I'm sure.
That's fair.
But I do have one. I'm happy to have it. I'm glad I used it. Do I think about it in my life? No. Do I really need it? Well, no. But had you tried to get one, where would you even get one right now? So that was my logic.
Okay, classic for real, $2. 2 Samsungs next to each other in F tier, S31 and S25. I can put the other one in F tier if you want. Mm-hmm. I might as well. What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah, 2 different S class. I did find a very, very nice picture of the Galaxy Quest tricorder. If I was to put in for that, it's pretty interesting. Pretty Be interesting.
Cool.
There's also the concept tricorder that people end up making that was a different artist's version of what the Voyager tricorder could be, and they've made it because it's more intricate, but people have since made it, so that's another option.
Classic for real, $10. Since we've already rated the Section 31 S24, I guess I'll add $5 for the Nintendo Game Boy SP, and $5 for the Progressive Flows Name Your Own Price gun. They totally don't look straight out of Lower Decks. I mean, Flo's gun does look exactly like the T-88, pretty much. So.
Okay. I mean, okay. I was wondering where you're going with this, but I do see some slight logic to your talkings. Although it might not get high scores, Stuart, given they're both games consoles. But, we'll give them the fair shout, right? Give them a fair shout. Okay, here is the Nintendo Game Boy tricorder. Your thoughts when you first saw it on screen in your house? Don't know.
Yeah, we had plenty of these. Each of the kids had one. Thought they were kind of cool, and I did think they looked very tricordery when they were new. But yeah, it's an absolute F. I mean, this would be a better tricorder for Section 31, for Christ's sakes. Swap out the buttons on there with, some other kind of layout. It's actually kind of good, and it's a good size, too. But
yeah, kind of like a two-handed tricorder-y thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you double up the screen so it's got the same bulk as the bottom bit, and in that you have glowing bits and lighting bits and... Oh dear. And of course you could just 3D print one of these, like the shell, put a new LED screen, just put a little board in the bottom. Yeah, it's got to be an F. I don't think it just technically qualifies a tricorder this time. I just don't think it's close. And I've never seen this before, so what on earth is this?
It's from the insurance commercials, the Name Your Own Price gun. Flo. She's awesome. You don't know who Flo is from Progressive Insurance?
I mean, if it's an American company, we wouldn't know what it was, would we?
I don't know. Would you?
Why would we? They wouldn't be able to sell legally in the UK because they're an insurance company.
But Flo. Everyone knows who Flo is. Yeah, it's just it's
okay.
An F. It's an F.
Yeah, again, I think we're real close, right? There's a lot of really good... But yeah, I think we have to go F. But it's close!
Sure. Classic for real, $10. Enough jokes. Stuart and Sam, each of you choose 2 different tricorders that in your individual opinions are S rank. Remind Paramount that the great tricorders exist and don't just use computer objects. Well, it's 1 each, not 2 each.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to pick first? Because I know what you'll pick.
Oh, well, I have to pick S. That's kind of like binding my hands a little bit. Is there any curveballs I can do with this? You've forced my hand.
I would put in a TOS one, but we don't have one on screen, so...
Oh, there was one. Boo. One memento.
I can look for it while you're looking for your shit.
Okay, well, you forced my hand. Yes, we'll go with the best of the batch, which of course, is the Voyager Tricorder. Oh, God. The Voyager Tricorder, which is the latest in the line of classic tricorders before they abandon that and go touch-paddy from then on, unfortunately. It represents the epitome of, 11 years of prop evolution from the bulky Season 1 TNG one, refining as they went, the tech ability set to go smaller, thinner, nicer, with not necessarily less curved, ironically, than the TNG one, but has a wonderfully crispness to it. This is the single prop that I invested in, in 2012 and a half when I did Temporal Anomaly, my fan film, because I knew I really wanted, the one piece I really wanted was, if it's on screen in front of you, this would sing in a way that a phaser wouldn't. And so I spent half the budget on this, and I've still got it, and the guy that made it is very impressed. It still works after 12 years. It is a glorious and gorgeous piece. It is perfect in its own context. Of course, if you're doing it now, you'd get more screen space, and why is there a big red button? But in the context of the show, it's perfect. It feels amazing to use. It's a great size. I mean, I've got the holsters, you know, all the kit together. And the way the glows are at the front are very pleasing with the multiple LED things. And yes, and the Master Replica is very heavy. I wish they'd made it so that, you know, the door didn't just force itself open by gravity. It's like make it a laptop hinge, right? Because otherwise, I mean, you're meant to kind of keep it up on display, aren't you? In theory, yeah. I mean, it's. I would do nothing to it, and I've used it many a time, many films. Anytime I can, I make the excuse to and I use it.
It feels nice, even the Roddenberry one. It's heavy, but it feels good. Like it feels comfortable in the hands. You could imagine yourself using it for a long time. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
that is a very heavy prop, way heavier than they would have had. But it then feels like a weighty piece of metal because it's a weighty piece of metal.
Yes.
Where would you say in the pantheon of the rankings would you give this?
What's an S?
Well, that's good. Good.
I'm pulling in the TOS one. I don't know if this is the best picture, but whatever. It's fine. This is the one that started it all, so of course it's an S. It's a classic TOS. Black with the silver highlights. You know how it goes.
There's the quote. You said it.
And it opens up, and it's got the little disk storage. Speaking of the wand company, they should be coming out soon now, and I finally have one.
Let me throw an alt view, which has got all the features showing.
Yeah. But yeah, it's classic. And for the time, I mean, this was pretty super advanced for them, and I think it still holds up today. But yeah, it's glorious. I just hate the way that Spock holds it. What the fuck? Oh, I wanted to show it off the screen to the audience that displayed no information.
Yes, but you couldn't see because the TVs were this big. I mean, there was literally not enough space on the screen to see their screen.
That's not true, because I remember watching it when I was really young on a smaller TV, and I could still tell there's not fucking anything on the screen.
That's because you were a Trekyards boy even then.
Perfect. Yes.
Anything that has not aged, because, you know, this is certainly 25 years older than my pick, from several generations ago at this point.
Yes. And these ones can be turned into bombs by your enemies, but still, it's a pretty useful feature, just saying.
But yeah, anything that hasn't aged well or looks dated?
The screen a little bit, because of the way it's curved like an old 60s TV screen. If it was just flat, it'd be better. The little mesh area like at the top there is kind of could be updated, but other than that, no, I think it's very simple and minimalistic, and that works for what it is. Honestly, I wish there was something on the fold out flap, like some controls, some push buttons or touchscreen or something. But
well, it's a funnier one because it does not imply design in that you can't operate it with 3 single buttons and 3 lights. So he must be using the touchscreen, but then it's so small it's unusable. Unless it's just there to show data and not actually use it. You know what I mean? Because 3 buttons isn't... What can you do with that, right? I don't... You know, yes.
Same 3 buttons on the communicator that do different things.
But normally you're called, right? It's like if you've been a phone call, just slide up and you're calling. It's a little bit...
I know, but even though there's 3 buttons, it could be like the Wand Company one where it's like it jogs up, jogs down, side to side, push down. There's different functions.
Yeah, and
so you just select what's on the screen, just slide it over, beep, beep.
No, that's a really good option. But I think if you were, and I get the mesh because that's a speaker grill, which is on the comm panels. I get it. But certainly if you're redoing that, which they obviously have, and hopefully we'll talk about that as well, you could just add any more buttons, just any more control interfaciness. And you could probably have more in the bottom pouch because obviously it's the battery pack, right? But you wouldn't need a battery that big. And certainly I would have the Moire pattern thing also be a screen as well. little things. But I actually disagree about the screen. I think it being curved works so well with the curves of the overall design that I think would hurt it being square. I think that's beautifully nice.
No, I don't mean the corners.
Oh.
I mean, because it's a bubble screen. It's actually.
Oh, I see.
See the.
Yeah,
that
okay.
1960s glass.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's got some character to it. Yeah, I would keep it curved. But yeah, the fact that it flips up but not out is really interesting because it lets you not worry about hitting it. It's neat. It's organic. I'm guessing the middle bit, the moire, is the sensor because they tend to always open that.
Not always, but yeah. I don't know.
Because I associate it in this form, right? And if I was doing like a hyper version, I'd probably design the back because there's a lot of space left over in this. Whereas really like not necessarily like the Voyager one, but there's little extra scanning tools inside the back that you could like press a button and then they come out. So you've got like the medical version, the engineering version, like specialized like little tools that just sort of change its operation a bit. I would probably do that.
There's this one I have for my phone and on my iPad, which flips up and you can turn different screens. If I can hit the button, there's different screens, and then this opens, and then even this opens, and it's got like these lights pulse.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities with this design.
Yeah, this is one where the shape is so nice and the textile work is so different that all it takes is to update the screen-based space a little bit, which again you might look at Stranger Worlds, and you've updated it into the modern day because the overall design is so timeless. It's just the interface that's dated. But I like Kay say about the those controls just a bit more tactile, almost like a controller. You can imagine if it was in one of the cameras, it's got like you can click round, so it's got a tactile click as well, so you can go up, down, click, push in, push out. Five or six operations in one thing.
Yes, classic for real. I have a working Section 31 tricorder, and it can emulate old TOS.
Oh
designs. Shit! Yeah.
Wow, you are brimming with the new texture. Brimming.
I know.
Also, should read out the poll. We've just got to that design, so.
The poll is: do you prefer the TOS tricorder or the Strange New Worlds tricorder?
Old or new? Let us know in the poll result chatness. All right, next,
we've got Oliver Lavery Frog, 30 pounds.
Oh.
Wow. Just sent you guys a tweet of a test shot for a fan film that I'm putting together with the Mark IX. Sam, you've inspired me with your work, and I would love to hear your thoughts. It's such a sexy beast and S for me.
It is. Is that? It's not actually. So I looked at it earlier. It's not actually the tricorder lighting you, is it? Because that's a lot of light for that scene. So I don't think they're that bright, but it works well.
Section 31 also does this one. It's
wow. It's aliens.
Section 31 tricorders are amazing.
The xenomorphs, man. They're everywhere. And did you know, Stuart? I've got a macro tricorder. You ready to see it?
Sure.
Macro tricorder. It's got half the functionality of their tricorder. Look, it's even got colours. Each one's a button, right? All the different abilities. Probably. There you go.
Like a 1, 2, see?
Yeah. And it's Cardassian branded. Yeah, Oliver, send me a message on some platform because it's cool. If you put a cine camera with good lighting, it doesn't feel anything will look good. And obviously he had a really cool sovereign variant that was cool. So you don't need me for CG, do you? Boo. Yeah, make it. Put it together. Do some cool stuff. I made 31, so you can do it too. Thank you.
I guess with 30 pounds, you're supposed to change into a uniform. I don't know.
Don't know. You didn't ask for it, did he?
Well, you left that on the thing.
I did, but they have to ask for it. Otherwise, it's them being kind. And I like kind. Classic Friel. Classic Friel says that the tricorder is the Samsung S31. So they stalled a bit in the 2100s. They finally got round to those. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty obvious.
Mark Lawrence, $5. Here we go with another oddball. Henry Starling's 29th century tricorder from Voyager, Future's End.
Odd you call it is Henry Starling's. I mean, he didn't design it, but that's okay. Now, of course, you know the where this one came from.
Did you share the picture of Oliver so I could see it?
Oh, it's tagged us both on Twitter.
I know, but maybe the audience wants to see it. That's why I put in 30 pounds to show it off to them.
Sure, can do. I was busy looking and reviewing it. got a screen cap then.
Oh, that does look good.
Yeah, I guess I can do a screen clone thingy. Oh no! Oh no! I lost everyone. I pressed some buttons and lost everything.
No.
Okay, everyone's fine now. One moment. Uno momento. And yay for anamorphic widescreen, because everything's better anamorphic widescreen. Even Stuart's face, coming soon. You know, buddy, you know.
Nice, nice. No, it looks really impressive, Oliver. But I'm easily impressed sometimes.
Except with my stuff, he just complains. And...
It's because you show me so much of it. I have to start critiquing it.
I mean, I suppose that's possibly true. So, this is the... all 9 seconds of it! Oh. Are you laughing at me?
It's destroying the illusion for everyone.
Well, he could have shot more.
No, like of your computer
yes.
setup.
L-cards.
There's...
Yes. Well, it's funny. It's same with your one. The worst thing about the tricorders you can buy is that they make noise. Because it means you can't use them for anything because they make the noise.
It's easy to deactivate.
On that one?
Yeah, just take out a few screws and take a wire off the speaker. And then you can always reconnect it later if you want.
Okay, I thought it was more hardwired than that. Yeah, I threatened, because my dad owns one, we have to put in like a switch inside the wiring to be able to turn it on and off. I didn't think you could undo wires physically. I thought it was all connected.
Well, they're soldered. You'd have to unsolder one.
Oh, that's connected then, yeah.
Solder it back. It's not that hard.
Complicated.
Annoying, but... Anywho's.
Very fancy. Make the film. Release it. Go. This year.
Yes, here's the Future's End one. And this is just, to me, a cheap, almost toy-like version of the TNG one. Or the Voyager style. I don't like the way this looks. It's very simple. It seems like a tricorder light. Like,
I like that.
You know,
like
not as functional. The lower case feels like it's just literally stickers on like a thin piece of plastic. It doesn't feel like there's any substance there.
I mean, you're not meant to see it like this. It looked great in the show.
Did it though?
Yes. Didn't it though?
No, I prefer the Voyager style one. It feels much more substantial. This just feels like a cheap knockoff, like a tricorder from Wish.com. It's sort of there, but...
What's funny about making a screen that's already small even smaller? Boy. But there's probably some, 20th century eyesight improvement you can get. That means you can see really small things. Because it's a really small screen. Yeah, I mean, I like tricorder light. That makes me happy, because that makes sense. It's the most amazing prop in that you have to literally look for it in the episodes. They use them, but it's so damn small that to feel its presence is not really easy, right? Same with the phaser.
It's kind of like the original phaser ones that were so small that they were shooting out of their hands.
Yeah, perfect allegory. Now this is one that I got at the same time as the Temporal Anomaly one, because I got a deal. Buy 2 get 1, not 1 free. But I mean, I paid more and I got both because I knew that to try and get this, how the hell ever. That was a great prop. Yeah, I like it. The sound is amazing. It's so futuristic sounding, and when I've used this, a bit here and there on the screen, it feels futuristic because it is so much smaller and compact and compressed, and you almost don't think about using it because it's radically smaller. And of course, if you take it literally, stickers on a pad, that's fine. But if you take it conceptually, the fact that the bottom can be so radically small, the circuitry is so dense that all of the tech that the other one has miniaturized to 1/3 the size with a thing that's this thin, and it can do more because it can go through time, can scan through time, whatever, as in like it connected through time. So it's everything you can do, and now put in like your whatever pocket square placement is, right? So it's everything but special. You could probably say it was a time version if you want to be fancy. Don't know, we don't know, right? But it's just by them, and it looks cool to put it against the tricorders in a scene because it's like, yeah, it's really small and advanced.
I mean, if you're going on functionality, it's definitely an S tier because it does, as you said, have quite a range.
Yeah.
Looks for me, this one just falls a little flat. I don't know why. I just don't really like. It just feels. It looks cheap.
Well, I see why, because it is so much simpler. But it's not what it's going for. But it's trying to. How small can make any of this tech as technically possible and still work? And if you look at the physical prop, it's an alarm clock, and there's very little they're doing in it. But everything the big tricorder does, this can do, basically, like prop wise. Yeah. But so, I mean, for me, this is easily better than stuff in C because it feels like a real tricorder. It is a little bit too small. I would certainly have loved but again, it's a real item they found, right? If they would do it from scratch, it would be slightly bigger. I just wish that the top and bottom are the same size, so the bottom would have lights and sounds. Or, that's all it would need, just to kind of make it twice as thick. Give the full functionality.
Mark Lawrence says, not the right tricorder. Right time, though. Henry Starling one. I don't know if that's. I don't know what specifically he's talking about. And Dan says, I think they watch videos on it in the episode with Joan Collins. Yes, The City on the Edge of Forever. You can see images on the tricorder screen. Yes, we know. There's one or two other episodes where you actually see stuff on the screen as well, but it's like a close-up of the prop with something overlaid on it. What I was referring to with Spock was fucking facing the audience with the thing, reading, this information, and there's nothing on the screen. So
yes, very special advanced scenes is when you see the data versus every other normal scene.
Yes.
But you happy to go for a B because it's better than stuff in C? Because at least it's doing what it's trying to do better.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm 92% sure there's not a unique one in that episode, but I'd be scrolling.
Mark disagrees, I guess. Yeah, Dan, I kind of agree. Dan says this doesn't even look it doesn't look even more futuristic. It looks exactly the same detail-wise as the other one, just cheaper, So if they'd made this one look different, I would like it more with the way it's constructed.
I think you put them side by side, it feels more advanced. It's hard to tell.
I've seen them side by side, but I still think the details are so similar that most people wouldn't notice that. Personally, it just makes stuff look a little bit more advanced. I don't know. Does that make sense? No, probably not. Okay. Shut up now.
Yes. Sorry, I'm scrolling.
All right, guys, hit that like button. 33 people here, 28 likes. That's pretty good. Let's get up to 30 likes, though. And go vote in the poll. We have 33 votes. We'd like to get closer to 50 if we can, but if you haven't voted, go vote.
Do you mean the tube thing, Mark? Because he's branching like a gun in scenes. Like a weapon. I mean, my assumption is it's an everything tool, not a tricorder. But I guess that's what you mean? Yeah, here's the. Here's the prop. So we'll take that off the board then. Although we know the discussion point. So Henry Starling's silver tube, which the fact that he's brandishing as a weapon in this first scene we see it implies to me it's everything. It's not just a tricorder.
Janeway called it a tricorder, says Mark.
I mean, it's all she has to go by is. I mean, it's not 20th century tech. 'Cause that doesn't fit into whatever. Stuart, what do you think of Henry Starling's metal rod?
F.
Okay then.
What do you think?
It's not a tricorder. It's a sky. It says multi-purpose. It's a multi-pass, multi-tool. I mean, the fact that you can't read any data from it kind of makes it hard to be a tricorder. You know what I mean? Like, my assumption is it's a custom-built thing that like has a button for each function. Because you're not reading data from it.
Yes.
Didn't know this was a thing, because it's like in 2 scenes, and it's a type 1 of the...
Okay,
Where the hell is this prop? You know?
Yeah, it's probably in somebody's pocket. They walked out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never have thought that in 1,000 years that was a tricorder. So.
And nothing... If you search Henry Starling tricorder, nothing comes up of this. Well, hey, Stuart, we got our first curveball, and it is brand new to everybody.
And it's an F.
Yes.
So we're not going to keep the other one in B. We're going to...
I mean, no, unless someone puts in for it.
All that talking about it, deciding to put it in B. So somebody puts in for it, we're just going to put it back in B without talking about it. Cool.
You know this format. Excellent.
Classic for real, $5. Picard season 3 tricorder because I don't remember what it is, and hopefully this time they didn't just use a goddamn phone.
Well,
okay.
I know what scene it is, but not what episode it is. Okay, can I find it via? Okay, good. YouTube, Google does know what I'm talking about. Cool. And it is slightly different. Because it's a medical version, right? So I appreciate they put the effort in for that. So here is the picturable, findable version. It's the exact same tricorder, but with a thing on top, which has the
scanner.
Yes.
The medical scanner.
Which I don't know if she moves or not. I can't remember. But in fairness, that's a cool looking LCARS and far more filling than the one in season 2, because they had proper designers doing proper LCARS. That at least fills the frame.
Yes, well, that's Terry Metallis for you, making sure things are right.
Well, and yet still being forced to use the prop because, of course, we have them and we can't reuse them.
I think it's still a C.
Yeah.
I mean, that probe on the top looks cheap and chintzy and looks like a fucking hinge. Like a really old school bulky hinge.
But is it a torch is the question. And here's a reference to show the actual same styling in season 3 as well, so it was kept. But you can see with the better LCARS, which I do think serves it slightly better. So the medical, I think, is fair for C as well. Let me just move that for you. But I do think that compare the season 2 LCARS, the 3 LCARS, almost the same, but the fact that it feels like it's built for the screen. Just is more full.
Yeah.
Although so grey is just dull. But here or there, right?
Yes.
All right, next to Rooney.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cat Boots throws in $5. The Doctor from Voyager, specifically season 3, episode 24, Displaced.
Oh wow!
Where B'Elanna modifies the Doctor to search their environment.
Not wrong.
That's super hyper advanced and fucking cool. That's an S.
Yeah, let me find an appropriate picture of the first walking, talking tricorder. What a great episode, right? Such a good idea with such a good pacing. And they're always just so cold. Wouldn't you have thought, though, that they would just have taken the mobile emitter off them because it's tech? Because, you know, it's tech. They took the comm badges, except the doctors.
Yeah, somebody got to put in for the Discovery comm badge tricorder.
Yes, it counts. You laugh, but you're 100% right.
I know.
Okay, then. Okay, this is a bit of a metaphysical question. The 29th century holo emitter is very clever, right?
Yeah, sure.
Does it actually create a working communicator in his program that he could tap his own communicator? Because in this scene, he was in the thing, and they had him, and it made a comm badge. Is that a real comm badge? In the sense it can holo create a real comm badge while still being holographic?
Interesting. I don't know. I would think maybe yes.
I would think maybe yes too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can create, I mean, it's not the same, but a gun, a Tommy gun in the holodeck that works 100%, is not a Tommy gun to 24th century tech level similar to a comm badge to the 29th century? Like 500-year-old tech is not going to be complicated in the grand scheme. So replicate, you know what I mean? Because I never thought that, but yeah, otherwise this is pointless. Otherwise he's got to physically, every time he turns himself on, he's got to put a badge on himself then off. He's not going to do that. He's never done it clearly. But it's not, why would you have a fake badge on? Just don't give him a badge then. Wow. Shit.
Yeah, I think it's S tier for this one because this is pretty cool.
Dumb, but yes, S. This one can talk back.
I mean, that's not always a good thing.
Sometimes this one can talk back. Damn, I like it.
What, again, another one we would never have thought of, so that's why we love doing these with you guys.
You technical, and it's totally true. Yeah.
Oliver says, well, let's put some £10, so thank you. Says, thanks for showing the clip. And I will put the rest of the shots together soon. Just finished shooting this weekend. Also, I shot it at 128 ISO.
Ooh.
So I could get the lighting effect for real.
Wow. Did you noise reduction post, or is that just as it? No, you wouldn't. Well, I mean, did you brighten it in post, or was that exactly right, and therefore it's? Huh. Cool. Is there other people in this? Is there much space effects? Is there any green screen? Tell us more. Because you need more films, and if you're in eras that are crossoverable, that's useful. Etc. Etc. You need more fan films in the world, Stuart. You need more fan films in the world.
Classic for real, $2. $2 enough to put the other one in B, being cheap. The medical one? No, it's not enough. And Classic for real puts another $2. You can literally see the phone bezel on the Picard season 3.
Yeah.
You can even see the camera. Little camera on the top of the
phone. Yeah. I mean, you're not meant to look close, right? You're not meant to.
No one would.
No.
It's not just Star Trek. Nobody pays attention to the details.
Well, and it's funny because they could just have made the Voyager one and like made the screen bigger, and like, you know what I mean? Done almost no difference, and it would have been good.
Yeah. Classic for real, $5. F it. If the Doctor counts, let's go back to yesterday's live. Geordi's probe from the TNG Season 7 interface.
Yep. And what's funny is can you visualize this probe?
No.
Because I could, but I didn't know where it was in the episode to find. I scrolled and found it relatively quickly. Because there's a shot of his reflection, and it's not Geordi, it's the probe. It's exactly what I thought. Didn't know it was white, but that's what I thought it looked like. So how did I know what it looked like? Because that's what it looks like.
Well, that's... I don't know. I think they've had shapes like this before. For space probes and stuff, so...
But it is a tricorder, just with an interface. It's a probe tricorder.
It's not, though. It's a probe, which is not a tricorder.
Well, it has scanners in it.
It does, but it's not a tricorder. It's a probe. They're different.
Well, they're different.
One's a probe, one's a tricorder. This would no way be listed as a tricorder.
But the Doctor's in a holographic person who's scanning with his eyes. Not tricorder either.
But doing tricorder things.
This is doing tricorder things too.
No, it's not. It's doing probe things. It's probing.
Oh! So you say because it only... Okay. I'm saying because it primarily is designed for anal probes, it's not a tricorder. It's a probe or anything else.
Correct.
Okay. That's a fair point.
Where do you want to put it? I don't care.
D, because it's funny. I mean, it's a better tricorder than the things in F.
It's more of a tricorder than the Section 31 tricorder. Yep. I mean, you're not wrong.
I can point out there's also an incredible, as we got coming for a second, there's publicly available alternate Prodigy tricorders that the guy designed. He put his entire work brief on. And there's some amazing could-have-beens that I think are much better. And if I want to see them, I have to throw a few in. And in fact, for 5 or whatever, I'll throw a slide of them in. That are all just so different and interesting. And yeah. Come up in a second.
I personally really love the Prodigy tricorders, personally. But
well, we might get there sometime.
Yeah.
We will.
Classic for real, $5. A tricorder is basically a 23rd, 24th, 25th, 32nd century calculator. And Dr. Julian Bashir is basically a human calculator. No, we're not going to pull in Bashir. Come on, this is getting silly.
But also, many people can do math well. I'm sure Khan could also do math well.
So can Tilly.
Yeah. So can many aliens. Yeah.
Static Beard Chakotay. $5. Prodigy tricorder on the Protostar.
And there we go.
Beautiful.
And I have the original. Yeah, let's go for the sort of.
Just show the original one first, and we'll rank it, and then you can show the other one.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just. Best picture is this concept picture, because obviously it's all animated, so same style. So there you go. I guess you can turn the screen transparent, whatever. But yeah, so it opens up. Really just the middle one.
It feels like a departure from Star Trek. It doesn't feel Star Trek-y. But I do like this as a scanning device. As an evolution of a tricorder, not so much. But I do like it as even as a pad. The new version of a pad would be better than I think a tricorder. But I love this design. I love the way it looks. I love the way it works. I would love to have one of these. So, tricorder-wise, I mean, it gets some good marks for me because I do really like the design.
And just go back a second to the probe. The Trek viewer, it's a probe corder.
Why isn't it a triube?
Because Trek viewer said so. I mean, I feel with this one, Stu. It's not a tricorder. It's a pad, like you said. It just looks so silly. The thing slides up, and then you can see through it. That's a terrible. Yeah, it's just it'll just have a backing. It's a terrible design choice that looks dumb on screen. It looks dumb here. It doesn't need to open. Like, I'd be fine if it didn't open and it was just a big pad that was shaped. But the way it opens is so dumb, relatively speaking. Now, if it folded up and then became shaped, maybe, but it's just designed for the sake of design without pulling from anything anywhere. But yeah, it's a great design for a general prop. And I wouldn't even say it's generic sci-fi. It's actually quite a good design for like a postmodern future. But you would not say Star Trek from it. Or tricorder. You just wouldn't. It's too far removed from it. And that's a problem. But if it was a specialized pad, yes. I don't know why they went with this, because it's just not at all relatable. It's having one giant screen that's glowing and see-through. Like, where does any of this come from, right? I don't get it. None of it is from anything. Yeah. And seeing the other chap's design, here's a couple of things that are interesting.
Well, considering you shit all over this one, where do you want to rank it?
Well, as a tricorder, it's in the D because it's worse than the Southern Sea because it doesn't look like a tricorder. So it's similar to the T-88 paddy thing. It doesn't look like a tricorder. And design-wise, fine, it'd be a B, but it doesn't look like a tricorder, and that's kind of important.
All right, we'll put it in D, even though I would have given it an A. Even though does look like a pad more than a tricorder, but I love the idea of it. So, but that's fine. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'd love to do a variant which is like a hybrid. And in fact, there is one design here that's kind of cool. A couple of designs are kind of cool. And he had a lot of variants. This chap was trying everything.
Let's see him.
Huh?
You're gonna put him on screen so people can see?
Did anyone pay for them?
Oh.
But I'll read you. I'll read you the brief that he was given, because he has a graphic with every tricorder. Tricorder notes thoughts. Overarching considerations. This is the prodigy. This is original brief, Mr. Ian Galvin. Silhouette needs to be mildly stylized, 10 to 20%, to read with show. Visual style. Tricorder needs a balance of complex over interface, some sort of functional activation movement. Single tricorder, no attachments. No, needs attachment for medical. Playfully bulky. Areas of exploration. What analog exists for the traditional data flop out? Fun way to carry it? Very simple shell, complicated interface. Laptop reference. Tablet with buttons. Nintendo Switch. Razer phone flip.
Well, classic for real, $15. Voyager 4 is a device. Oh, it's meant to record and transmit information logically. So is Voyager. They're also just probes. And another device that records and transmits info is the USS. Now, that's changing this into a joke, because there's kind of shit on the board that's not tricorders at all, and I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. We just put them all in half, but then it's just silly.
So as he asks, he wanted the Nemesis tricorder. That's why. See, if you take the third letter of every word he said, he typed out the Nemesis tricorder. Stuart, how do you feel about the Nemesis tricorder, which is the type?
Don't like it either. This looks like some devices you could get in the 80s for like world clocks and stuff, which I had a few. And the thing at the side that flips open feels cheap. Doesn't feel like there's any kind of functionality with those. I mean, the screen looks nice, but I hate the grips around it, because how many places are you going to be gripping this thing, and why are you gripping it so tightly? I don't know. I don't like it. It's a good pad, like a alternate version of a pad that has a little bit more functionality. But that hinge door just feels and looks cheap to me, because I've had many things with that kind of hinge, and it's not futuristic at all.
Yeah, we love you, Classic. We love you. Yeah, it's odd to go from. I mean, obviously, it was. We now have these pads. Let's make a pad as a tricorder. What does a tricorder do? It flips open. But to remove the flip to 1/20th of the top, so that, like I've used it on the screen, it looks just so insignificant to go beep, right? And there's no like spring activate. You have to physically do it. Yes, the Cylon bar is kind of cool, because that's what it is. But from every angle except this, you can't see it, because it's so thin and angled. So you scan somebody, you can't see it. You have to do this.
Yeah.
It looks real silly, and that's not a good thing.
Devo, yeah, that's what it reminds me of too. An Apple Newton. I used to have one. That's what I was thinking of with that hinge thing. Yeah.
I don't mind the grips, but I wish they were inset, not extruding, so they look like the tricorder, like the Cobra phaser, because that would make sense. Because extruding, I mean, I've never thought of them and holding it. They're just part of the shape. They are so blended in. But yeah, it feels like just a step backwards. Now, in my fan films, I specifically, because I got one to make fans happy, I call it a specialist tricorder, not a standard tricorder. expressing that it can do certain things better, like read information and more fine-tuned sensors, but it's not an all-purpose device like the standard tricorder, so they can exist concurrently and not replaced. Because it looks like a terrible replacement to me versus a... So that was my way of having both.
Yeah, it's a specialist thing. But it wouldn't be a replacement or a new one.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, but as Nemesis is, many things took over that weren't logical, but just, let's try this. And it's like, that's not quite...
Yeah.
So where do you want to place it? Because is it better than a phone case with an LCAR screen? Because that's the current midpoint. It's not better. Wow, okay.
For me, it'd be a C. And that's being generous. I'm not going to shit on it and give it a D. Even though that's probably where I'd put it. But because it doesn't feel like a tricorder at all.
Well, it's a pad with the tricorder attached. Because it has it has the tricorder bar, right? It has the thing that tricorder has. Well, I love the fact in this prop, it literally is just stickers at the top. But I believe them actually lights. This is a cheaper version, I guess. I say C is fair because it is at least trying to be a pad tricorder. Just losing what makes it. And it's funny, they had the physical props in the prop store, right? It's not as if they lost all the tricorders between movies. Have people with it in the scene of both of them, or have Geordie using what I mean. They don't care. I just use their normal and say, Giles, get me the. No, just let down.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how that one got a C over the Protostars.
Well, because it has the tricorder
Protostars
feature, the opening bit, the LCARs, the screen, the tricorder. Protostars none of those, so it doesn't even have the tricorder elements. Yeah.
It's experimental, though.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a real $5. Dan Ben suggests sevens, poor guy, so don't. So blame Dan, not me.
Which I, of course, read as the Star Trek TMP tricorder. Leah's last thing she held.
Ugh.
Ooh. It's not getting a place in your heart, despite its...
No, I'm not a fan of this either. Like, this is typical 80s kind of gitchy gadgetry. No real good display screen. If it had a holographic screen that would pop up, fucking A. That'd be cool.
Okay.
Then it would make sense. But for me, this is just an overly exaggerated calculator. Because you do see the numbers on there. You've got a bunch of function buttons.
Interesting.
The way they hold it is interesting. You got the surface, and that's great. But there's no real way to display information on this. It's a scanning device. And I don't know if that thing in the bottom that has a delta on it flips out and becomes a screen, because that'd be kind of cool. You could hold it, have the screen there, that'd be great. But I'm not sure if that's the case.
Certainly wasn't in the film, so...
No. They definitely tried to do something different with it, and they did, but I don't think it was successful.
Do you think they thought screens are too kitschy sci-fi? No screens is more grounded, because TMP I don't associate with lots of screens, but I don't know. Because there's loads of ample space for a screen, and they could have had... it looks like it can flip out, which is cool. Maybe they start the tricorder, right? There's actually almost a tricorder at the top, right? the hinge. If the top bit had been two TOS screens side by side, maybe with like a little bit of glass to connect it so it looked like one screen, and the bottom bit was all buttons, would that be better?
Yes. Yeah, 100%.
Like, I like this as with the phaser, the one of the phases of the movies, as an assault. No, the Tricorder Assault 2, the silver one. It feels that branded. It's a rustic, multi-purpose design to be thrown around, where like the bottom bit is a giant power pack, and it's not got a screen because it'll break. Like, it has more of a away team feel, but that's not in the movie, so that's me just saying it has a similar vibe to the 2 one, but that's, what do you think? It's a kind of tactical tricorder.
Still doesn't work for me. As a scanning device to gather information, cool. But as a tricorder that's multifunctional and used to display information and help you in a situation, no. This would be transmitting information to something else that you could actually read the information on, to me. I don't know.
So where do you want to place it then? Is the real question.
D.
Okay then. Yeah. It is, of the few things on this list, it does feel like a product of its time.
Yes.
But uncreatively, because the 60s, it is a product of its time, but has the creative flair of not being from its time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And we'll see if the future ones are better. Alright.
Alright.
So we go next.
Classic for real, $20. Oof. Okay, seriously. Let's just cover all of the thumbnail tricorders, and if any are already on the list, just pick a replacement accordingly.
Yeah, so we've got the two alts. The alt TOS. Stranger World and 09.
Okay, the Strange New Worlds, I really appreciate them for this because it looks like an older version of what the TOS one will become with that flip down control panel. And I love the way that that flips down to become the center section of the TOS one as like a precursor to it. I think it's absolutely great. And now it's gone.
No,
now it's back.
Don't worry. Crisper image.
Oh, perfect. So it's got all of the elements of the TOS one, and this is how you do things like Strange New Worlds in that time period. Make the stuff look like it fits, and this does. So yeah, this is awesome. It's not as good as the TOS one, just because TOS one's got a little sleekness to it. This one's got a bulk to it, and I like that because it's a precursor. So yeah.
Yeah, it's such a funny one because you almost can't assume they know what they're doing because everything they do is so different, right? Like, why are the corridors so giant and advanced looking? That doesn't look to us at all. Those aren't prequel corridors. The engine room, in no way does that go to TOS, right? All these things don't connect to the principle of being pre-TOS. But this shit looks older than the TOS one. I mean, but that's not what they've done for the entire design. So are they trying to make it look more advanced? Or are they actually doing the correct thing and make it look 5 years older? I don't know because they're so varied, right? I don't know.
The tricorder and the phaser, they did the job that they're supposed to do and make it look like an older version of what TOS is. So I think they hit the nail on the head with these designs. But the internals...
But the thing is, the phaser looks sleeker and more advanced because it's sleeker. This looks less advanced because it's bulkier. Again,
I don't think the phaser looks more advanced at all.
Well, it's thinner, sleeker, and easier to fire. But this is so distinctly bulkier. But they've not changed a damn thing, really. Like, really, right? It's so fun and that it's just, yeah. Yeah, is it very interesting? No. Does it need to be? No. Right?
Yeah.
That's the fun of it. Do you think the screen could have been bigger? Should they have pushed the edges to be like... No?
Nope. Because that would make it more advanced than the TOS one. I mean, the screen is already bigger than the TOS one.
Yes. And flat. But still curved. I assume the buttons, like we said earlier, can click in, click out, turn.
Yeah.
I guess. And I would assume that if you're using it like... perhaps the middle section... Imagine if the curve, the circle bit where the Morai used to be, is like a trackpad. So that's like a mouse. Would that work for you?
Sure. Yeah.
And you got the button clicks on the bottom bit as the yes no, and then the mouse will become kind of an interface. So where do you want to place it? As a retro, I would agree. For classic, yet not. It would be interesting if they made like the one after as well. How they make it look more advanced, but the same design, just like a few years. A phase 2 of sorts, if you will. As we're still hoping that they'll push the tech into TOS by the end of this run. Hopefully we'll see a TOS one by the end.
Then we come to the 2009 one, which is absolute dog shit. because it doesn't look at all anything TOS. It feels more TNG, more like a kind of engineering thing. It's cheap as fuck. I have the one toy of it, which is not impressive at all in the least. It's not good.
There's no screen. You have it. I'm as a question mark as well.
That little thing at the top is the screen, the sticker. That's all there is. There's like some kind of display thing on there.
Hey, at least 2S colors, kind of.
Yeah, it's got yellow, green, and red. So
yeah, it's just giant yellow, green, and red buttons. But I guess since the gun has to be...
they're not even buttons. Those are lights.
Sorry, there are 3 lights. Unless you think there aren't straight, then maybe we can debate it. Like the phase, they need to have the blue and the red because people will be confused to kill or stun people. Are you confusing like deep scan is red, light scan is like? Is that a thing?
Yeah. There's also, I think there's a flip down thing. Where you see those buttons in the middle, the 2 gray buttons, and the lights beside them. There's a panel that covers that. It flips up. I think there's a sticker on that as well for some kind of display, if I remember correctly. I'd have to go find it. But
underwhelmed.
Yeah, it's an F. It's worse than anything in D.
And you hate
T88.
And you hate the Section 31 one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's probably in a similar vein a sleeker version of the TMP one.
Yeah.
Equally uninteresting, equally weird. And I kind of like the bottom bit, the curvedness of the 2-tone. But then the rest of it was just noise. Yeah. Place it as you wish, because it's not great.
No, it's not at all anything that would be TOS in any kind of shape or form, so...
But you can kind of infer from that film it's brand new. With the Enterprise, and therefore it's like fresh! Not TOS, because it's now post-TOS bullshit stuff. So it's not TOS. It's like, way, great, super.
Yes.
Alright. And no TNG one so far. He'll be skipping the tinge. Straight to Voy. From TOS.
1870 off-road, $5. Star Trek Beyond medical tricorder from Swarm Attack Scene.
Which I couldn't say I remembered until looking, but now I remember having seen it. Do you have any idea what that's going to look like?
Nope.
This is not a good image, but I don't know if he used it in any other scenes. And yes, this bit does flip open. So, not where I want to go. So in this tremendously dark corridor, Bones and Spock walk up, and then he holds this thing up and he goes click, and the top bit jumps up. And that is the medical tricorder. I'm going to see if I can find a better shot. But currently that's the only shot of it in the film I can see. That is a giant pad. Okay, he's scanning people. And does it ring any bells? Are any bells being run for you?
No. Looks like a communicator, if I'm honest.
That's what... So as soon as he gets... There's another scene, he's talking to a dying person, and he instantly grabs a pad instead to scan him. Okay. He literally threw the tricorder away. And now he's got a box and he runs away. Right, well...
If I could see the front of it in details, that'd be cool, but... Another F? Which is odd. You'd think there'd be pictures of props and stuff, right?
You would, wouldn't you?
You would.
Oh. Okay, yes, there we go. That is in a box. Oh my god, there's... Oh, that's so funny. There's a prop collection that they did. And this is the tricorder. Which, okay, great, good picture. And also the carrying medical box it comes in. And you'll recognise the box as being every box ever, just repainted. And I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it. But you know, is that not every box ever from everything?
Yep.
But let me zoom in specifically. Gosh, if you have it, that'd be. Oh wow, that is the same. Well, not identical, but 95%. But yes, here is the actual tricorder prop from Star Trek Beyond. It is new, so I commend them for doing something new. Although I say that, maybe it was 09 and you can't tell. Oh, it's a Delta on it, Jesus Christ. Thoughts?
That's kind of cool. I like the slide up thing that covers the... I assume that slides up. Looks like it's on tracks.
Where it goes click. Oh yeah. That's do. That's kind of
cool. It looks kind of cool, yeah. Feels like it could be a reimagined TOS-ish, way more so than the other one we just looked at.
Yeah, it feels more like a reimagined TMP one because you hold it in a different way.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's also in the medical scene with his hands. Nope, that's just a curved prop.
I wish there was something on that pop-ups thing at the top, like either a scanning thing or a display of some kind. So,
like it's fine, but it's just kind of a box without much character. I like the cut-ins, but the slide-in's cool. I kind of wish that it could. I mean, maybe it could. I wish it was slid down 2 times and there was 2 sets of screens. But that would make it more like a tricorder.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you one thing: it's not enough.
No. Low C? So I like the Picardo more because at least it's a tricorder, but this is not bad. It's just missing some stuff. What do you think?
Yeah. Hey, Bradley. Yeah, I'm fine with low C.
It feels kind of expensive though. Like it's a prop. Feels like it's built nice.
Yep, they should maybe show it off once in a while.
Well, if we're going to get a 4th movie, and therefore it would be the highlight of the piece.
Perfect.
But hey, there we go. I mean, we love the curveballs, and there's a brand new one that many of you will not remember even seeing.
Hit the like button, guys. Don't forget to super chat in your Tricorders and make sure that you are participating in the poll and doing all those things.
Well, yes. How's the poll? Should we close out and do another last minute one?
We have 52 votes, so yes.
Perfect. Read the results if you would.
Do you prefer the TOS tricorder wins with 60% over the Strange New Worlds tricorder?
And there's no wrong answer there. There's just a less good answer.
Yeah.
Because they're both good. Ooh, yes. Interesting.
All right.
And again, no TNG one so far. There's like 3 in TNG. Well, 4 actually, if you include the Voyager Season 1-2 variant.
Classic for real, $5. The 32nd Century Tricom, apparently.
Which is what we looked at previously. And what did we give it?
We didn't look at it.
Yes, the tricorder.
I think he means the Discovery one, doesn't he?
Oh, 32nd. 32nd.
Yes.
You got me confused there. My brain auto-corrected. Alright, what do you think about the combat tricorder? So it is a tricorder.
I want to know how it works. Well, it's fine. I like the display. I love the tricorder display option. That's pretty cool in front of you.
Yeah, I need to find with the display as the screen cap, don't I?
But yeah, how do you issue it commands? I guess it's all linked to your brain because it can transport you anywhere you need to go without any kind of input. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's advanced. I like that it's kind of contained into one little unit.
Wow, it does not want to show me any images of it being in use, so I guess I have to not use that. Google it and nothing comes up. Because I guess Discovery, no one cares as much. But yes, the com badge. It works via brain. You also have the actors do this in the air, which you would think it'd be linked to your brain, so you wouldn't even have to do that. But at that point, why show you stuff? Why not just link it to your brain digitally? Boom! There's in your brain. Yeah. But it's a tricorder. It's also a comm badge. It's also a transporter. It's also probably an SOS signal. It's probably also well, it's not a holographic generator. You can do everything. What do you think? We're gonna...
That's a tough one. Functionality-wise, it should be like an S, but I can't, in good conscience, give this an S. I'll give it a B for effort. And it looks like a beetle in this picture.
Yeah, because often the attempt to do something interesting can some sort of work, right? Like, it makes sense. It's an interesting idea. Does it work? Maybe. You guys be the judge.
I want to give it a B, just to be nice at least once today.
Yeah. Most of the functionality, as you say, what it can do and the thought. Does that mean there is no design, right? But that's because they've combined everything, which makes sense.
And Discovery needs a little bit of credit for a few things. So yes,
absolutely.
Dan Ben, 2 pounds of Vash's tricorder from TNG Captain's Holiday.
Is a thing. Yeah. I'm shocked how tricorder it is. But also they just reused. Because, in fact, she could just have used a normal tricorder. She's a civilian. It's fine. She could have got one. So the fact they made a new one... I mean, I certainly remember it. I don't think you necessarily did. Your thoughts?
No, you would think it would be just a regular tricorder with the lights the way they are, kind of. But, yeah, I didn't know it was anything different. I think it's kind of cool. And, again, I would love to see a shot of it other than this. But it is what it is.
But you get the idea of it, at least.
Yeah, the effort was put in. I'm going to say C.
Yeah. Now, what the hell's this prop, right?
Yep.
How many would they have made? Don't know. Probably not many. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just use the one picture. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the effort that they put into that show was really impressive, I gotta say.
For an always at the edge of your budget sort of show, because they always spend on things to try and improve the show. Yeah.
Classic for real, $20. All 3 TNG ones then. Plus, we need a DS9 tricorder. Niners represent.
Let's let that load. Yeah, the classic first gen TNG tricorder, which is real freaking big.
It is.
Have you ever held a real one?
No, I've got the Playmates one. That's all I've got.
Which is like way smaller. Yeah, think big and then think bigger than big. It's kind of awkwardly big, but then you hold it
kind of like the Dustbuster.
Well, that's less big than you thought, ironically, right?
Yeah.
Then you work well together.
Yeah, I mean, this was really cool to see at the time, and it was definitely great sound design, great, design. It's just a neat little compact thing that went in a little holster. It was nice. And it was great to see something new and creative and innovative. So there's also, of course, the medical version, which has, we'll talk about that in a second, I'm sure. I always thought the display screen was a little small.
Just a bit. You could argue it's maybe intentionally small because then you can't see it on the screen to know there's not changing.
Well, that being said, in Voyager, every display has the exact same thing on the tricorders. That graph.
Yeah, there's
every time you see it.
Yeah, there's three Voyager tricorder props. There's medical, science, and other.
Even the Doctor uses the same one a lot of the time. It's not medical.
That's just whatever they grabbed, right? But I know that not Westmore. Yeah, well, that's the medical version. Yeah, but like I know I watched a video on this. They did that, but that's all they did. They put that effort in, but like you say, if they don't hand the right tricorder, right? But it's funny. I dislike the Voyager screen because Chris, who you met in Vegas, she bought a medical version, and I thought the screen looked notably like the display looked worse. And if I found it, because the one you showed is the classic one, right? This is the medical, and given it's not really a screen, it's a display. That to me looks just worse as a display. Just the graphics doesn't pop in the way.
Yeah.
So I prefer it less. So yeah, classic one. I own a proper one, really big, but it works. It has a heft of scale, and it's fun to go backwards and think they went from that into the Voyager. So you love the evolution of the sleekness, you love the whatever. But then you get the bigger screen because it's a bigger prop. The bigger button's a bigger prop. Why is there a big giant red button? Don't know. As in, like, really don't know. You never see it be used. I love the glowing dum 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 on the top because it's so big in this prop. It really comes across on the screen more than the Voyager one because it's just bigger. Love the color. Love the design. Like I said, revolutionary. Like, where the hell did this come from, right? This didn't exist yet. There were no flip phones. There was no flip tech of any kind. They could do this. Some had a good thought. But yeah, it makes sense. Flip it half the size, put it in a pouch, boom. That's great. And it protects itself, blah, blah, blah. I also love the fact that at the bottom, they prioritize having a little sticker, a little name tag for what it is. That's a priority versus having more buttons. I like that. Like, it's telling you there's enough going on that works, that you can have extra.
Yes.
I wonder if the ID thing at the bottom is like a bio scan, so only registered people can use it, and if that's lit, you're ID'd. If it's not, then you can't use it.
Maybe.
Don't know. So what do you think? What do you think? It's,
A.
Yeah.
The Voyager design is the evolution and the perfect version of this.
But this is. I'm excited to come to England and see it because it has. Until you hold one, you don't realize the charm of it. But yes, it's definitely just a more bulky, and in fact, we're releasing a film this year with Emma, and she's got this, and she's so small, it's so big, and it's like her entire hand plus then some. It's slightly comical, in a good way. So then, as you say, let's go on to the medical tricorder, which is the same thing with a thing on top. How do you feel about the thing on top?
It always annoyed me. It fits the scanner perfectly, and I get what they were going for because it's a medical device, it's a medical scanner, and portable along with the tricorder. But I wish they would have made a smaller scanning device, but they made it the size they did so it was easily visible to the camera. I was doing a scanning thing.
Yep.
Plus, they had to have the lights in it. So it works for what it is, but I always found it looking a little bit silly. You could also argue that part has the additional medical database, like the complete medical database, where the standard tricorder just uplinks to the ship or has basic medical information on it. This is a portable, like, medical library, which would account for the more size there. I always thought it looked sillier though, so I don't know if I quite want to give it an A.
Well, yeah, it's function beats form, right? You hurt the form by giving it more function, but that's all it is different, right? So you have to commend it for what it's trying to do. Doesn't mean it looks as nice. And of course, this one also has Playmates. This is the one I had, My father had the original one, which I never got to see because he also had it in his prop cabinet. So I only had this version. So this is like my tricorder. It's never good though, like because it just has a red bulk and the prop was always. The real version's the thing's a lot smaller than you think than the Playmate, so it's a better size. And then the Voyager one is even smaller. That's a really nice crisp little tube. I quite like the TNG one, but it's it's amazing how like you're brainwashed to think the Playmate's the right scale, but they're so not.
Yeah,
it's just not. Yeah, it's definitely one below, which is ironic. You add it to Trek's points. I think it's absolutely fair.
Mm-hmm. He said there was 3 TNG ones.
Well, they evolve the scanning prop as they go, but being the funny man, don't know if it was intended, but this is an early TNG, so it still kind of counts. There's a specific red tricorder in Voyager, which is in the sick bay, and it's there. Make sure you guys can see it. So that's it in the show, and that's you can tell it's early Harry haircut, as silly as that sounds. And as you can see, though, it is a slightly different prop, so it isn't just quite a verbatim version.
I would think that would be an engineering one, because Geordi's used a red pad before.
He has.
It is different. Well,
but I'm assuming this is a broken prop, and the bottom bit should have the stickers, and that's the lighting panel. I'm assuming. Although I wouldn't be against having something just those slots. What do you think of having a bright red one? Because the silver grey is iconic.
I like the idea that it's a different function.
Yeah.
I like the idea of an engineering one that's shielded against specific radiation or something.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Later, that just became a purple stripe, so...
a very important purple stripe, yes. Well said.
I think this one will probably be a B for me. I mean... I kind of wanted to say A, but...
No, it's lost something. I do think, and this is low decks, whatever. Had it been a classic one with red accent somewhere to imply function, like at the top maybe a line versus the back, like the word low decks one is very sort of in your face, but had it been just either side to imply this is this one. But then, like you say, it being shielded is a really, really good reason, and therefore a stripe wouldn't help. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's B. There's so many props, if you painted them a weird colour, it would just look worse. A bright purple phaser. Right? So that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Alright, and then DS91, he said, was his last one.
Which is the Voyager one, they use the same prop.
Yeah.
And even, of course, the medical one is the same prop, with the back hold out and a piece put in. So there is just one tricorder design with a different back, but it's all the same mold, which is great.
Yeah, and the Voyager one is absolutely S tier.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I do think you like the TNG one more when you handle it in person. It's just got a certain charm.
Yeah.
Bulky charm, but charm.
All right, microwaved fish throws in $5.
Thank you. Welcome to the channel.
The animated series Tricorder. It is different from TOS with very faithful design language.
And thank you to the many books for giving us images, because here we go. Here's a pretty damn clear shot, which I would never necessarily have known without this sort of newer work. So there you go.
It's kind of, it's a little more sleek than, I mean, the screen section that flips up is thinner, so it feels more sleek and advanced, like it's later version. The sides are bulkier, as like with the adventure set that you could get at the time. So it's trading some bulk for some sleekness, but other than that, it's pretty much exactly the same. And it's a good look, honestly. I do like it. It's not really, I don't think, meant to be different. It's just an animated version of it, which of course has to be more simple to draw. So, but yeah, I think it's very cool. Probably an A, honestly.
Yeah, it's
closed. It looks a little off because of the sides, but open, I do like the sleekness of that flip up part.
Yeah, it. So the closed says coffin, like Dracula, right? That shape slimmed. I don't dislike it, the point, but it doesn't have the same elegance, right? But the open, yeah, there, I actually really quite like the way the screen looks, sleeker with a giant overshadow, which actually I like because yeah, if you're facing the sun, you're hiding the screen. That's really simple. That makes sense. I think the screen's bigger than TOS as well. I assume that's
Looks it, yeah.
which fits really well. But yeah, the detailing is a bit less detailing, not a lot, but a little bit, and it doesn't work quite as well overall as a shape. But the top's interesting. I think A is very appropriate because E is what it is, but it's doing something a bit different, but also not.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they could have added a bit more to it, but they're drawn that every single damn time.
Mm-hmm. And Classic says, so if there's no DS9 specific tricorder, can I change it to Star Trek Enterprise?
Absolutely. I have no idea if it's the first tricorder. Now, can you picture that one?
Yes, and I can also picture T'Pol's, which is...
Oh, yeah.
different.
Absolutely. So the Enterprise tricorder, the prequelist of tricorders. Your thoughts?
I mean, this feels like a funky wallet with the pop-up option for your cards. Like my wallet.
Okay.
Here's my wallet. Here's my cards.
Wow.
They just pop up, right? And you get to select which one. That's what this is. It pops up.
How long have you had that?
7 years.
I've never seen that.
Yes, you have many times.
Not the... I've never registered you go and click on
Just
it.
don't pay attention. That's fine.
That's cool.
It's the same design I've had for like 7 years. This is a brand new one I got at Christmas time, but it was to replace my old one, which is exactly the same. No, this is very interesting and simple, but again, not many control surfaces. That thumb thing is probably like a stick, an analog stick that you can like select things on screen. Probably.
It'd have to be.
Yeah. I think this is see-through as well.
No.
No.
No, it's just a fully screen slidable. No.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of these, honestly. They feel very simple, and I'm sure they probably are. Like, functionality-wise, they probably don't have a lot going on because it's early tech. But can't really say I'm a fan. Can't really say I'm a fan.
Yeah, I get it, right? I get the logic. Doesn't make it good? I don't know.
How can this be the prequelist if it's not just a Samsung with an LCARS up? Yeah, what's absolutely better than the Section 31?
We think we should rebel and just throw it to the wolves.
Mm.
Yeah, I get it. I prefer it to the Nemesis one. Your thoughts?
Prefer the Nemesis one?
To the Nemesis one.
Oh yeah, I would prefer this to the Nemesis one. Yes.
Because I like the TOS and like there's a distinct moving part of the TOS and TNG and Voyager, which is to protect the technical stuff, and therefore having it in as a nice little thing works, and then flip up, that's how you do it. Makes sense. Totally get it, right? The fact the bottom is so plain, I guess it's TOSian, but then it feels like the workable area is so much smaller, because it is. I kind of wish the bottom bit was a way of opening that up a little bit, like a second, maybe, like it just slides down, and they have 2 bits of information, even if it's just, some single buttons. I think that would have been good, but I like it overall. It feels very like we could make that in 5 years. I mean, they could make it then, they physically made it, but like you could totally make this soon because it's not very complicated, but there's also enough space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a uninteresting but logical piece of Enterprise tech, which kind of fits the bill. Bloby? Or is it still too much a pad to then BC? Because again, it fits the bill. And remember, we gave the Discovery one to be a com badge points because it made sense. Does this get the same treatment or not quite and goes down to C? It's more creative than the Picard stuff. It's more creative than the Joker, the Lower Decks. So it depends if it's more successful meaningfully than the Nemesis or Beyond. Or, yeah, Beyond. I'll leave that up to you. Either way, I'm fine.
Yeah, I think B's good for this, for what it's trying to do, and when it's supposed to be placed. I think it's perfectly accurate.
It'd be really interesting if they flipped the colours and made it TOS palette. So mimicked it being black with silver highlights versus silver with black. Again, I get that, but to see the cards flipped, maybe the blue now are L cards like that, would be good. Yeah, I mean, is there one more guys you want to put in? There's still the end game tricorder. And that's probably the end of what I can. Oh, sorry, well, 3, 4, and 5. Got 3 minutes. So I want to put in a quick fire last one. You're welcome to. Otherwise, that is a lot of tricorders.
And the Star Trek 2 one.
Yes. I don't think they made new ones for 5. They weren't really doing a lot of tricordering in the in the TOS movies. So how do you feel about the list, the set? How are you feeling?
I don't know. I'm thinking the purple striped tricorder could probably be moved up, if I'm honest. Looking at everything else in C, it's like, if you're taking it at face value for what it literally is, with no writing on the buttons and really garish buttons, it belongs where it is. But if you're overlaying the realism on top of it, it would be moved up to B.
Which is funny because the TOS animated, we're doing the same thing as you just said we didn't do for that one, but because TOS has no details, they did all the details versus the low deck, so it's actually not got the details. But yeah, and I'd like to see this design fleshed out. You have to change it quite a bit, right? The actual interface stuff, but the same shapes. How would the curve flip feel? Maybe great. But also, I can't picture like the top having any glowy bits. Or really, I know this shot, but I can't think of the prop really beyond that, which is mildly worrying because you think you would be able to know.
Yeah.
So I'll find some shots.
There's one I thought of earlier that I can't remember now. So I'd like to have mentioned it, but what the fuck was it?
Oh, the lower decks one from the TOS crossover, the Starbase 80. No, but that was a cool prop.
That was a cool
Do you
prop.
want to review that as a little bonus one? Just for you, Classic. Just for you. Here's a freebie. And that'll close us out. There you go, Stuart. The Lower Decks TOS Starbase 80 Hybrid one in the post-Nemesis era. Fan render.
Yeah. This is also very reminiscent of the actual real-world tricorder that exists today, that my brother has, that he got in the 90s. It is literally that shape, and it can tell you temperature, it can tell you the atmospheric conditions, it can scan colors and let you know the different gradients in the color. It was like a $600 tricorder at the time when it first came out, which is super expensive. And that's what this reminds me of because it looks the same. This is more colorful.
Yeah. TOS!
Yeah, I love the idea that this is got a TOS type display and feels like it could be a specialized medical one. I think that's really cool. And it's got the bright colors. So yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, for me, this is not as good as anything it's trying to replicate, but because it's trying to be a weird middle value. So it succeeds while not being as good as either.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. I would say this is a middling B.
B, yeah.
For creativity, and it did look good in the show, and it was just nice to see because it was like, oh, sweet. And there will be more on Tricorder, you'd think, in TOS. You know what I mean? Like potentially some specialist ones or whatever. So it's nice to see what could have been potentially. Yeah. But Stuart, talk about tomorrow's live, and then we'll get out of here because we would like everyone, all of you, to jump in on that.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at episodes from season 1 of that show that we like. What's it called?
Niners. Star Trek Goes Nowhere. Season 1.
Shallow. What is it called? Shallow Solid 6. Yeah, that show. No, Deep Space Nine. We're doing.
You're thinking of Star Trek Alan Moraine, Stuart.
Oh.
The hit TV show.
That'll be an interesting one to rate, that episode. Yeah. Yeah. Deep Space Nine tomorrow, season 1. So
with a disclaimer, I've never gone back and watched DS9 because it's DS9 season 1. But you'd have, and I do remember quite a few episodes, but not everything. Later on seasons are more memorable because they're more distinct in their character work. So I'm interested to see. But obviously review per season, so there could be some amazing ones in that. Interested to see. So do join for that. And of course, I'll be uniformable in DS9 with, I suppose, the TNG badge, because they swapped. So that'll be the only difference in the TNG and the Voyager. It's the TNG badge still. Way! Which I forgot they had early on, because I never think about it. And I made a slight continuity error in our Trek shorts, because I shouldn't use those badges. But shut up, it's fine. No one noticed, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
And on that note,
join
us tomorrow.
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching. He's Commander Cosmos.
He's got a Foley.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.